This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. This the link up. This the link up. This the link up. Welcome to the link up. Oh.
I tell you that bad man beating us.
I mean, you gotta love the intro. You know, welcome to the link up. This is the way we started this week, and I feel like we don't need to have too long of an intro this week. I mean, I feel like people should be familiar with the show by now, understand the concept of it, so no need to go over that again. But it's just, you know, the show that fills that Caribbean void. Just to reiterate it one last time, you know.
For those that haven't been watching.
Yeah, if you happen to not listen to the first episodes, you know, we're the show that kind of is that Caribbean voice to have discussion going along on topics that may be relevant or interesting to people from the Caribbean. And
yes,
yeah.
and again for the people who
we
haven't,
from there,
but easy now, and for the people who have not been listening to previous episodes again, you're listening to Kana and Mr. King.
Yes, this is the voice of the king right here, and since the person has already been spoken and made their voice heard and stuff like that, I feel like we should just introduce them one time, you know. And on this week's episode, we have none other than, actually, I don't even know how to introduce him, because I felt like this was something that we need to talk about, and I felt that it's better to have them explain. And
I know him by one name.
Yeah, like,
yeah, no man know me by AC9. Right.
Yeah, let's let the person speak. The way I know this person is Alto, but recently I've heard some news that they went through a name change, and that's not necessarily who they are anymore. So I figured I'd let the person explain it themselves. So Alto, if that's not the correct way to address you, please correct me and let me know what is the correct way to address you. And
okay, so
in one time, I feel that you could kind of explain how the evolution of the name change and the process, how it got to Alto in the first place, and, you know, just
like
for all the people that don't know.
You're trying to be like the Caribbean version of Pop Daddy. Oh, good.
No, not really. The whole thing is like with nicknames, you know. Nicknames, you don't give yourself a nickname. You kind of like get one. So in that sense, it's like people. Yeah, some people. I mean, yeah, if you want to try to make yourself cool, you give yourself a name.
Hey, wait. Are you throwing shots? Because I chose
No. Look, sometimes it'll happen organically. Like, okay, for instance, with your case, you was looking for a stage name, use King, use Gary King.
Yeah, but that's
so why not?
That's
you know
his
what I mean?
last name.
But it has something to do with your name.
True.
Okay,
true.
So like, but me now, when I first start out making music and like really freestyling and rapping, the person who I learned like most of my tricks from at the time, they gave me a name, and the name was Altitude. You check.
So why Altitude?
Because I was in the air or something. He was explaining to me. He was like, "Yo, tired of like Froggy and stuff like that, you know." But it's like with me, I either
okay. Wait. So back up there. Wait, back up. How you get Froggy?
For being in the air.
So that was probably what, from capoeira?
Yeah, that was capoeira days. That was when I was like 11.
So you upgrade then. You level up.
I mean,
you went from Froggy to Altitude.
It was another name that just come up, like, you know, again, organically. It was just in the moment. My man was spitting, and I was like, "Yo, you smoking weed now?"
Altitude,
dog.
fits it pretty.
Right.
I was on another.
So I was
level.
like, yeah, on another level. I was like, yeah, that name cool. And then we fall out. And then
I was not aware of that part of the story.
That was a little
fall
dramatic.
out, and after a while, I was like, I need to re-up the name. You know what I mean? So I went and looked for some symbolism, and that's what a C9 actually stands for. It have something to do with being a Libra.
Hey, Bobsy Boy, what day is?
18th
October?
Yeah.
7.
You check. So
true.
And that's why I put the Alto. I shorten it, just make it Alto, because I wanted it to have something to do with like my mom being Spanish and me growing up having two languages. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Bilingual and thing then.
Yeah. So that's why I put it like that. So then it was Alto C9. And then after a while, I was it's too long.
Like, I feel like that wasn't necessarily, or at least I didn't understand it all the way. Like the C9 part. Like, what's the real What's the connection in there with the Libra thing? Like, I don't really understand that.
Yeah, me neither. And I Libra.
Look, I don't understand it neither.
Okay,
Because
alright, that's all
because I
you gotta
went
say, like,
online and I just looked for
Oh God, the bag
something.
gets it.
I looked for something that had to do with Libras. You know what I mean? And I just come up on this post that was saying some shit, and it had the C9 symbol. So I was like, cool. Because now it's like, okay, Cloud9, and that's why I start saying like it's always on Cloud9 when I change it to AC9 and stuff like that.
Okay, see that
You know?
that kind of makes sense. I got.
So that's
I'm
how
mad
it
at you.
evolved. You know what I mean?
I'm
I was
mad
just
at that.
I'm working with it. I'm working with something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And then
And now
from
it's
there
like,
on,
okay,
who are you now? 'Cause I know AC9. I know Alto.
you know
I know
AC9,
Alto, I
and
know
that's the same
AC9.
thing like people calling me Froggy, right?
Yeah,
Like certain people just call me Froggy because they know me as Froggy from like
I
for
miss
the
years back
longest.
in
You know
time.
what I
I
mean?
miss the evolutions. I
So,
still on
yeah.
version 1. I ain't catch up on ones.
Yeah, but it's like that. Them type of things is like, okay, if you accustomed of calling me that, then that's why I think like you should call me because you know me like that. You
Okay,
know, if you know what coming next or whatever, then you could adapt to that how you feel like. But I feel like you earn the right to call me AC or Froggy if you know me from way back, like in
Okay.
them days,
But
and you
then-
feel like that's who I is, then you call me that. But people who've never called me that, who've never been around for those type
didn't
of,
know from the
you know,
Froggy
for
days.
those days and years that you ain't allowed to call me that.
But what
You know what I
what you prefer to be called then? What's your preference?
Who are you going by now? 'Cause I feel like that we kind of was going there with the story. Then we just stopped on the AC9 part.
Yeah, like the whole
continue
thing,
with
the whole
evolution,
situation
like-
is that I want something that had something to do with my name, my actual name. And it's like I ain't want to be shying away from
the
my
truth.
true self, you know what I mean? Like all of me. And then AC9 is also something that gonna always remain as like a code, you know.
It's still a
like
it's still a
that.
moniker,
It's
something that's
it's
still affiliated with
yeah.
you.
That's your Facebook password.
Because that,
I wish.
Nah, but I mean, like that's like, for example, I mean, one of the people I feel as most known for this is Lil Wayne, aka Weezy F, aka Lil Tunchi,
But this-
aka Weezy F, and the F is for everything that he's ever like throughout this man's career. That F has become for
Yeah,
so
but-
many stand
yeah,
for
but
so many different
At the
things. Like,
same time, you have a point. But he never officially changed it. That's just what he was calling himself within his songs.
yeah, but you know, like this man had so many names for himself.
I
dog,
find,
like,
Puff-
the Alto-
I find actually Puff Daddy had the most
Yeah.
official name
There
changes.
was Diddy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
whoever he
yeah.
is.
But you see that's
But
not
I
a
feel like
moment.
that's a typical rapper thing though. Like, I feel
Oh,
like you
but you
can't be
see-
a dope rapper without at least 3 names. That.
But I find that ain't taken away from half of it. That ain't actually like a issue.
How you
Yo,
mean?
look,
Because,
let me
like-
show you something. If you're trying to find your sound the whole time, right, as an artist, right, I find that like maybe 80% of the time, all you're trying to do is find that sound that represents you. You understand? And if that's all you're trying to do the whole time, right, of course you're gonna just leak over into other things that you dealing with.
But then
Your
why?
stage name important, like that's how.
But exactly. So that's why I ask ain't a problem because if you keep switching your name, then kind of like keep switching
I
like brands to a certain extent.
I feel like for Diddy,
Like
for somebody like Diddy, for as big as Diddy was, it didn't matter. Like Diddy,
I-
how far as well known as how Diddy was, he could call himself whatever. People know Diddy for what Diddy does, being involved in music and doing this business deal and that business deal. I feel like,
But at the same time, the names wasn't that far apart. So I mean,
yeah, Diddy was never too far. Like, you know, like Diddy was such a big figure, you know his real name and stuff like that. It didn't matter what he called himself and stuff, you know who he was talking about. Like,
Yeah.
Prince stopped being Prince and the man was a symbol for a while in time. Like, I mean,
But then, okay. But again, my whole thing is if you have your one name for like a couple of years,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you just change your name to something else, that ain't kind of making people a little bit more not people, but making it a little bit more difficult.
The way I
for people
want to
follow
see
you.
it is,
to some
is
degree, yes,
something.
because this is something
Because
that,
it's like okay, cool. I looking for your music, but for like I don't know you change your name or something like that, and all of a sudden I looking for something else and I can't find it.
honestly, like that's something that I saw personally, I felt personally with like another dude that we know, St. Martin rapper, was like Rhinel, for example. He was Twilight for the longest while as his rap name. Then at some point, he eventually dropped the Twilight, and now he's just going officially as Rhinel.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
I understand it because, like, Twilight, to be Twilight in just Google searches and different things like that, it's cool. But I mean, like, for the Google searches and stuff like that, it's just like other stuff going to. If you're looking for Twilight, I mean, we all know Twilight, that movie with the vampires and all kind of nonsense and stuff like that. So I think that was part of what. Yeah, I think that was part of what led to his name change.
You think so? You think nah, man. Like, I gotta give him a little bit more credit than that. I really refuse to believe that a man get his name from a vampire movie.
I ain't saying that's what he got it from. I mean, that's part of what led to name change, to create differentiate himself from that. And if you're looking for him, you're gonna end up finding the other stuff about this. I know it's a different spelling or whatever, but that's kind of like that's a small thing. I mean, it's kind of too similar. Like, I was talking about this with a friend of mine recently, about the fact that before Drake was Drake, when I thought on Drake, I thought of Drake and Josh, like Drake Bell from Drake and Josh.
Oh my gosh!
And like since then.
Yeah, but that,
like,
man,
he now officially has to refer to him. He can never refer to himself as Drake. He can never just be Drake because Drake's star has grown bigger than his star. He was a star in his own right. In the kids,
you gotta be
Drake
and Josh.
If that's your standpoint, what will you say about somebody like Chris Tucker and Chris Rock? Both of them is Chris.
Yeah, but they're both, as you just said, you just call them Chris Tucker and Chris Rock.
Yeah, nobody didn't say
like,
Chris
just
for
say
Chris Rock.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
You just said
everybody
Chris Tucker and Chris Rock.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
because there's multiple Chris's. Like,
okay.
But wait. Let me get back to the name change, right?
We got off track.
Like, in my opinion, in the past, it was more so like a brand change or like something that would like kind of confuse the fans or whatever. But in my opinion, you know, like my motives behind it, more or less, is like what Gary was just saying. You're trying to help people find your brand, and also like it have to come across as something natural. Like when people say AC9, only when I say AC9, people will be like AC9. You gotta hear people being like Act 9 and like it's so much weird things.
The man kind of got a point there, no, because especially with this whole podcast thing, I hear, because a lot of people, only like my real close people know me as Kana. So then it's like, yeah, everybody else know me as Sean, but now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, podcast with King and Kana. I mean, I guess I kind of got to find a way to like not rebrand, but like start to introduce myself as Kana a little bit more, it seems, because, yeah, trying to keep this consistent.
I mean, I feel like that just kind of depends on you, and it's like what you want. If you just want to be known for like the real name, if you just want to like make that your entrance and how people know you and come to approach you or whatever, I mean, there's people who do it. So it's not like it's unheard of or something. You don't have to have the nickname. I mean, Charlemagne the God, I'm sure he wasn't always Charlemagne the God. I mean, he had to have a real name at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like,
but I guess people will only know as far as you let them know.
Yeah, I mean, look. No, I want to change it to West Lord because my name is Wesley.
I was just gonna ask you guys, feel like we talk about
My
this so
name
much and we
is
still didn't
Wesley.
even actually mention like who are you now. Like,
so
but it's not. I put it as West Lord. Why? Because half of it is my the beginning of my name and shit like that. But also phonetically, it's just easy.
Why Lord then? Because now it seemed
popular. Because my last name is Haynes, the way I grew up saying it, but is of Irish descent.
You got another way to say it?
Is Highness.
Like Enos?
No, like Highness, like Your Highness.
Oh, okay.
So I was just thinking to myself, well, Lord.
But then why not go like the pop? Okay.
I don't want like, look, he's Mr. King.
Yeah, why not
like Mr. King and Your Highness?
No, but why not West King or West God?
Yeah,
too much gods. And I always talking about being mad at God in my music, and I always calling God out like he's just another nigga. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. I just be doing that, but that's my whole thing. Like I don't want to just say God like, oh yeah, we's our gods, but I believe like everybody have that God in them, you know what I mean? That we have to be true to in order to flow through this life. And in my opinion, like having two names is also something that is, for me, like I just find that being a person who does game a lot and do all of that stuff is always about the adventure. So if you have fans and you build your career to have fans, and you have people who following you and feel your shit, then those people I find would like be inclined to adventure through what it is Alto is, or AC9 is, or Westlard is, because every time I release something under a name, it have a certain mood to it. It's not the same, because now when I have my stuff as Westlard, it really like
it's a different sound. It's a
yeah,
different type
and it's also talking about more of like me, whereas when I do stuff as AC9, it's cryptic and it abstract and it hard to understand what I'm talking about. And if I explain it, you'll be like, oh gosh.
But why not just incorporate all that in one person? Why split it in different personas?
Like, it's good.
It's all about the branding.
Honestly, I could answer that, because I feel like it's good that he mentioned that, because that's where a lot of my mindset was. Because if you look at many artists, like almost so many artists have done this. Beyonce has Shasta Fierce, and according to her, that's the persona that she adopts and stuff when she's on stage, because she feels like it's so different than how she is in her normal life, which would be the actual Beyonce. Eminem had Slim Shady. I mean, T.I., he dropped the project T.I. versus T.I.P. and the T.I., like the T.I.P., that was the most street side of T.I., but you know T.I. is a very articulate dude and all of that at the same time. So it's like, but you see, with the other alternate persona was just kind of to articulate different emotions or to show a different side of the person that maybe you wasn't used to.
But with T.I., I find is a little bit different, because in T.I. music, he's well spoken as well. Like the same way T.I. does rap is how he does talk.
To some degree, but I mean, it's just more of like there's T.I. the trap dude who's really like on that hood stuff and things like that, and then there's other types of songs from Terry when you get more, maybe a more politically conscious type of thing, or like if you go back,
album or mixtape or whatever it is,
like I forget the name,
I forget
the one that had the songs Justice or Else and those type of things like that, and that would be, I guess, be more T.I. But T.I. versus T.I.P. was an album, that was a project stuff that he did like a while back. Like me being a big T.I. fan, like I had most of his projects and stuff, but T.I. versus T.I.P. was dope, and just having the battle and thing going back and forth between the different personas and thing. I think that was like the big shit popping album. I think it was on that time that was T.I. versus T.I.P.
But so are you telling me that having another name allows you to be another person?
Yeah, to some degree, because it's like a lot of times if I, like, for example, Wiz Khalifa, I feel like that's a pretty good example, because when you think on Wiz Khalifa's music, you think on primarily one theme that is, at least I do for sure. I know his like discography.
Calm, hey, just
basically just
something.
Wiz Khalifa's music is about weed. 90% of the time there's weed references. It's not just that. It's not just that. I know it's more than that.
No, but not only that. That's why, not to cut you out there, but that's why I could respect somebody like Wiz Khalifa, because the man was like, if all I do is smoke weed, all I around is weed, everything I have to do is weed, what else you expect me to rap about? The man, he don't portray something that he's not.
Look, nothing wrong with a man being a pothead, but look, my whole thing is, right, as yourself, you have a lot of parts to you, yo. And it's all about focus at the end of the day. What you shining the light on? You want to shine your light in a white brush, or you want to focus down and leave people see the intricacies of what that part of you details?
Why you have to create a alternate persona to be able to express that different side of you? I guess is my question.
Because it's just something
you giving it own. You in that sense, I find it's like a way of really like respecting that part of you, like as being something bigger than just
it.
Yeah. So you give it a. You give it a name. You give it a persona. Like it have its own like parts to it that good and bad.
To me, it makes it more easily digestible for the fans and stuff like
also
that.
Too.
For example, if Childish Gambino, if he had released his last project under a different name and that wasn't Childish Gambino, I would have understood. I personally would have received it a lot differently, because I know Childish Gambino to be a rapper, to be primarily a rapper. I know he does other things and he's very experimental in his music, but I know Childish Gambino to be primarily a rapper. His last project I listened to and I was like, what is this? It's not to say that it wasn't good music, but he just didn't rap on it. And it was like a lot more soulful and that type of thing. And if he had adopted some new moniker and created some new name or whatever and thing to kind of encapsulate or embody this sound,
that's what I'm talking about.
Like it would, to me, it would have made so much more sense just because the brand Childish Gambino to me represents a certain thing, and that might be like a certain type of experimental rap. Like this kind of cross between rap and like doing some other stuff now and then, but it wasn't like this full-fledged, like a complete different direction.
But why that just can't be that's just what he want to do now, but that just still can't Childish Gambino.
It could be because I feel like Kanye West is another one of those people who never really did too much when it comes to alter egos and adopting other personas, but his music was so diverse and stuff like that, and he like Kanye as this artist who trying to be a revolutionary on the cutting edge and always doing experimental things like with the Yeezus project and stuff like that. Yeah. He reminds you and makes you know so much that this is the type of person that I am. So you never really try to put Kanye in a box because he never allowed you to put him in a box. He was his biggest advocate, letting you know I am a genius. I am always pushing the boundaries and blah blah blah. Like,
but then. Okay, let me ask this then. So what about someone like Jay-Z?
Sean Carter,
he
Hove.
Went, okay, yeah.
Sean Carter, Hove, like he embraced the alter egos to some degree. The multiple names, like
Are You Special?
Absol, Soul Brother Number 2, the Black Lip Pastor, like.
But
this is a new wave. You wanna know why? Because look, is one thing. That's why I reference the past. I can say, in the past, it was not like they're gonna do something like that to embody it. It just happen along and they stick to it, and then you have like 5 or 6 nicknames to call somebody. But
2 Chainz.
Now it's like I trying to bring in on is a new age that. So now everything gonna have a relevance, or everything have like a reason for being there.
Like Gucci, Guwap, like 2 Chainz kind of
want those names
Danielson, the Necklace Don, like El Chapo Jr., like. What's the other one? 2 Chainz got a couple names for yourself. Like,
it's all content that it's all opportunities for people to have genuine content that he could get his hands on and be like, yo, I got the Ace files. Just throwing shit out there. You know what I mean? Like, I got her. How you get her? How you know where the fuck was? That's how I want my run to feel like. Because if you is a fan of my work and you stumble upon more of my work, and I never tell you about that, but I put it there intentionally for the people who really dig in and looking, that
okay, I guess I could wrap my head around the concept.
You know what I mean? And then it leaked by whatever, somebody put it online. That's how I wanted to feel like. I wanted to feel like it's an experience that just happening in it live. You understand? And people who go searching gonna bring new aspects and new levels to what my music's supposed to be, because I don't like bringing out my things where somebody else was like, yo, you gonna leak this? That's cool too.
Okay, I wanted to give a little context to the discussion and the reason that we even have you up here, and like why we talking about all this, or at least what led me to come to want to talk about all of this in the West Lord and stuff, the name change and stuff. And that was because like I saw the Instagram post that you posted previewing some music, it seemed, anyway. Like, I wanted you to elaborate on that situation, talk about that. What was your plan? I saw something involving Running from Mercy, RFM, and I heard a song.
Yeah.
What was the situation? What are you doing? What was this that you just teased and like?
So like, Running from Mercy would be my debut EP. And the reason why I call it Running from Mercy is because, like I just say, I don't like releasing my music, but like a lot of people who have heard it always say like you should, and it's good enough or whatever, you know what I mean? So in a sense, I've been running from the hate, but I also been running from the mercy that I would receive from people who actually fucks with the music. You understand? So in a sense, I holding myself back both ways.
What do you mean from the hate though? From more hate,
the hate, like the shit ain't whack, it ain't good. You know what I mean?
And that's
like people ain't gonna like it. You know what I mean? It's a possibility.
You mean you're running from that possibility?
Running from that possibility, but also running from the opposite of that, which would be people embracing it. You understand? So that's the mercy aspect. And that's why I call it like running from mercy, because it's like, okay, I was running from mercy. That's the whole the content within that.
True that.
You know what I mean? So,
and what's the, like, do you have a plan in mind for when this is going to come out?
I hope this I plan to finish it like the next 2-3 months. It's gonna be done, but it ain't gonna release until we work with the Three Conscious Cats, because got that going on too.
Okay, wait. Since you mentioned that, was that?
Well, the Three Conscious Cats is something that Gary come up with, and it's basically a collaboration between me and him, because, like I said again, I don't like releasing my stuff, and I have like a vault full of like beats concepts and beats and all the good stuff. And Gary,
this guy we talking to is a multi-talented artist in the sense that he produces, he raps as well, he does some singing, some vocalizing and things. He can play some instruments. So this is a multi-talented guy we dealing with here. But not to cut you out, but continue.
yeah. So like Gary,
yeah,
I often used to travel with my vault, and Gary gain access to it. Being that he always behind the PC anyway, and started listening to some of them, and he was like, "Yo, give me some of these beats." And I was like, well, you could just have access to them and just pick the ones you want, because most of them I'm using, the ones I'm using already have vocals on it and stuff like that. And after a while, it just developed into like, yo, let's just make a project with all of your beats. And then we just try to make concepts and just put them together in a mixtape. And then Wayne came along and he was like vibing it. He wanted to be in it.
cheet-code.
Shout out to cheat-code for real.
Okay.
And so that's where the Three Conscious Cats
so
eventually
the Three
come
Conscious
from.
Cats is basically Mr. King, Westlord. No, thinking back, I maybe gotta change some song titles and stuff like that.
I ain't think so. I think that's AC9. I think because most of the shit I really cryptic. Like I say,
the type of vibe that he was on, and that was AC9 type of material, and not
cryptic.
Westlord.
I don't care if you understand or not. I just don't. I only care about the flow and what it sound like. But for the rest,
True that.
I feel that's a hard way to describe music, but it's somewhat fitting in a sense. Like when you hear the way he raps, the type of stuff that is on. Okay, like most of the time, you have to be like, "Yo, what is this song about? Like, what are you saying in this hook? What do you want me to like fill in?" Because it's like he just has a very unique way of describing his things and talking about what it is that he's trying to say. And I personally think that with the Three Conscious Cats, the fact that there's different elements to the project, in the sense like my writing style, the way I write lyrics and the type of stuff that I talk about is a very direct and I think usually kind of straight to the point type of manner. So that's like is a nice contrast from the way that Alto would describe his things, and then cheat-code is like a whole different other element. Like he normally has like extra melodic elements and things, because he
melodic.
His
voice, like cheat-code just has this kind of Kendrick Lamar type of the way he sounds. His voice is kind of high and is a very distinct voice, and he has more melodic capabilities than like me, for example. Like I can't sing, I can't be doing that.
Who was that dude who was with Lil Wayne? He had kind of like sound like Lil Wayne and Birdmouth.
Young Thug.
Yo, it have a track where Code sound just like Young Thug.
I feel like that's not a good cosign. No,
because look, let me hold it down. Young Thug,
he has hits.
He got hits. But his shit sound whack, and at the same time, the melody's just really good, dog. So it don't matter what he's saying anyway.
If you separated the art from the artist, I mean, some of his tunes bad.
Yeah.
He does have some dope songs. I'm not even gonna lie, I got some ones that I was running like hard. A friend of mine,
but I think I got like 2.
Check was one of his biggest songs. I feel like to this day, like But
I don't know the names anymore.
that was a big song.
My melody's
Anyway,
dope.
but-
That my melody's dope.
Yeah, he definitely got melodies
Okay,
on point.
so then-
Lyrics might not always be there,
Yeah,
but
that's a whack part.
Back
I mean,
to this whole Three Concerts Cats thing. So
Mhm.
now, are you here talking about this? When are you actually? This man talking about Volt. So that
Okay,
I would
so-
assume.
By,
wait, no,
like-
but wait, no. So he talking about Volt. So that I assume that he got like a plethora of shit. And then are you man I've been hearing about these things. So when are you actually releasing something?
but you're asking very good questions,
This
and when
question's
it comes
very
to
relevant.
yeah, like when it comes to releasing something, I've been itching to for a while, but I feel like we need the right. First of all, we need the right song because that's a song that now has been out for like a few months and stuff like that. Like that song right there to me was kind of like the beginning of True Conscious Cats because that was the first song we just did, and at the time we had no plans or anything like that to form a group or like this collective or however you would like to describe it. Like that was not a plan at the time. We just did the song and it turned out dope, and we was like, let's kind of just keep this energy going and like see what else we can create and stuff like that. And in that process we just kept making songs, and it eventually turned into be like, yo, let's just make a project. And then from there we talked about multiple ideas about like other projects that could potentially come from there, but I feel like we can't even get to that because we need to at least have this first one finished and get this wrapped
definitely.
up.
So
But
when are
to
you
answer your
finishing?
question on release dates and stuff like that, like that is a long way from now because I feel like is that kind of set a tone. That's why I went to mention all of that. Like is that to me set a tone, and to be completely truthful, like a lot of stuff we've been working on doesn't sound like is that. So I was like, I felt like it was a kind of miss. If that was like a single and we just were to release the project or like we release what we've been working on until now, it would seem kind of like misleading. So I feel like we need the right thing to follow up is that, because in my personal opinion I thought is that was like a big tune and like I really liked the song, and from the reaction it got, it seemed like other people thought so as well. That was a good song.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we definitely do have some stuff that's potentially ready to release, but we still kind of debating because that's a big thing as to why it's, at least I haven't spoken publicly about it and really announced anything that this project is coming or anything like that, because when you're working with three people it's a interesting dynamic because we gotta keep three people's schedules in mind for when we could actually be all together in the studio to be listening and working on stuff like that, because a lot of the times it's like me and or like Alto might send the beat and that's where we would start. Maybe I do the hook or something like that, and then at another time we set up a session with cheat-code and then he comes in and he adds his parts, and then maybe I put my verse or whatever. So it's like it takes some time just making the songs in general because of how everybody's schedule set up. Everybody has like other responsibilities and stuff like that.
Very rarely all three of us here
So that's why it's taking so long.
doing
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least so now that we got a podcast and things, so I guess we're gonna be debuting music on the podcast then.
Yeah, that's a
it's-
possibility.
You know what
like,
the thing is? We ain't release nothing because we never discuss how we gonna release it. Because it got different ways, of course, to release something. We could release like a preview version of something just to get people going. I don't know that. But the thing is, like, we haven't announced the project because we ain't
It's not
even.
done.
It's not done.
a lot of like we have a lot of ideas for it, and a lot of things still need to be added. For example, like really focusing it. Like once we have all the songs together, then we can properly tie them together with extra skits and stuff like that. And we are the process where we still need to finalize songs and stuff like that. You know, so
you need to cut certain songs. You need to, like rework others.
Well, are you hyping up this group a little bit much? I find so. I'm really curious to hear all your music. So when are you done?
I mean, for sure. Like, music will be heard for sure. But
Yeah.
But then you see, not to stray away too far from the whole music vibe, right? But I had a situation that happened to me like last weekend. That I kind of want to get your perspective about.
Okay.
yeah, we were talking about it a little
Shoot.
briefly before
Yeah,
the
I was giving
podcast.
I was giving Mr. King a little preview there. So I went out last week Thursday. Me and about 2 or 3 other friends.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know, here in Amsterdam, when you go out, most of the time you either catch an Uber, taxi, or you go home with a NAC bus. NAC bus is night bus.
public transportation stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. student style.
Oh, wait.
So, but not even. I ain't got no more. But, so we catch the knock bus, dog. We in the bus there, you know, we halfway on, we tipsy, we going home, we talking stupidness, we cracking jokes.
Yeah.
This partner will come and sit down across from me. So he sits down next to my partner. It had a female next to me. I had to come with the group. So we were talking. I can't remember if he was directly laughing at him or if he was just laughing in general and he had feel away.
Yeah.
But at one point, he like had catch our attention because he was just watching us and talking stupidness. Yo, I not lying to all you. Out of nowhere, the man went and the man spit at me, Jed.
For real?
Yeah.
For real?
The man like spit on my jacket.
What?
Hey,
But I ain't do nothing.
He spit on your jacket like Ilana, you had feel
Like-
like the thump? Is that what?
It wasn't, the spit wasn't that thick, so I ain't feel the thump, but you could have clearly see it fly and hit my jacket.
Wow. The experience.
So-
okay.
like what you were telling me, I swear there was more lead up to this.
No, it was
I'm
just
trying to figure out how
The
we got to
man
this
was
level
on-
of escalation.
No,
that
it
like
was
spit was flying.
the man had probably feel disrespected to some point, and the man spit on me, Jed. So I watched the man. I start to laugh. My partner, the partner that was sitting next to me, he started flipping, Jed, because he speak Dutch. I don't speak Dutch.
I was just actually like, who was
This
you with
man,
at this point?
this
like,
man start flipping, man. This man start flipping out like, yo, he's talking in Dutch, of course. Like, how you could do that? This and that, all kind of thing like that. Cussing the man. I can't remember what the man was saying. Honestly, I was just laughing. Why? Because I know if it was any, like, if my brother was there with me, he would have fight him. And honestly, okay,
I just think,
Whoever-
like, when you
whoever-
say that story, like, depending on who the partners you was with was, like, I know if you was with certain people that we know and shit
but-
like that.
but that's what I say.
I'm laughing because of that. Too,
My
like,
brother-
catch me.
like,
my
that
brother
was
is
not
one-
a just gone down
my
like
brother
that.
is
like,
one
that
of them. But you see, the thing is, you might listen to this story, the people who are listening, and might say, oh yeah, Sean's a bitch, Sean's this, Sean's that. You might be right. Because first of all, you never really hear Sean ain't no problems or no fight like that. So I'm not a confrontational person. So you might be right on that point. But either way, my thought process of not doing anything for the reason, number one, they got cameras on the knock bus. If I had to fly on this man, I know my boy sitting down next to him, he would have fly on too. We get locked up for what? Because when you look, you know what happened? We gonna go police station, we get locked up, and they gonna watch the camera, and they gonna be like, oh yeah, we ain't see nothing. All we see is me fly on the man, and my partner next to him hit him. And then we get handcuffed, can't go to the festival, can't go to Alto no more.
If the man don't want to see you on camera, right, they gotta check your jacket for DNA residue that come from this man's gut. You check it? Yo, serious,
No, but
they can't do that.
But honestly, that's what went through my head. Like that was my first thought. That if I fly on this man, I gonna hit him. I gonna get him problems. I just get a decent job there.
Yeah.
I trying to finish this jail system called school. I'm not going to jeopardize that for one white man, Jet.
And not to cut you off, right?
I mean,
but
I didn't want-
manners be riding work every day on them buses. They don't use them cameras to catch nobody.
But I guess maybe that's just my excuse.
Okay, but
for
until the
anything.
police get involved and then they get
And you see,
access to the thing.
that-
But okay, yeah.
But I
you're
know
right.
I know we would. And you know what happened? You know what happened? The my friends, right? The my friends that was with him, because he was with another group of people. The my friends was their eyes opened up wide, like they didn't know
They
what was
checking
going.
like
Because it was like,
four
what
black man about to
exactly,
leap.
exactly. Yo, but wait, no, the my friends leave before him. They come out the bus. One of the partners went behind him, tell us to fight the man. Drunk, you know. Jed. Tell us to fight the man. The man went behind the man in the window and was like this. But,
Like he being dumb fuck.
Yeah, oh, you go
Go
through.
through.
Like, that was a cosign.
Yeah, that.
And then when my friends leave, they was like, yeah, maybe you should come with us. He was like, no, I ain't leaving. I ain't afraid.
He a G.
I ain't scared.
He a G.
That's what he had said in Dutch. I was like, bye.
Yeah, the man antagonizing now. You two now. I'm like, yo, if they have
Honestly-
audio, the man ain't gonna be
Honestly, deep down inside, I kind of wish I had hit him.
Bye.
But then, in retrospect, I kind of feel like I do the right thing there. 'Cause I don't know what could have happened. Yo, Dutch,
You know what
Dutch
you
people,
should've done?
Amsterdam police don't play now.
Look.
And that was by Rembrandt playing.
okay, you're right. But listen to this, right? You know what you should have done. He spit on you, right? And then you get up, watch him, crank one.
Yeah,
and
my
then
partner
sit
said
back down.
My partner
and then
said I should just slap him once. I
You
should
should
just
have
slap him
crank
once
one,
and just sit down.
and then have to sit back down and be like, yeah. And just start flipping and explaining why you crank him on, you check? And be like, yeah, dog. Fucking man spit on me and think, dog, you expect you're a black man in this white man country and this man just spitting on me. And,
you see,
flip.
that's what my partner was saying. He was like, boy, you should
should've
just slap him and slid down. But I was like, boy, if I had slapped him and then when you look, he come to fight me and then he hit the girl out next to me. Yo, if he had hit the girl out next to me, that would have been it. Because that was like my best friend's sister, Jack.
Yeah.
Nothing can happen to her. Then that would have been a different story.
That's always the dilemma, no? Like when you have a confrontation between two guys and you got a woman in between, you just be mad at the one who more mad enough to like swing over and actually potentially hit her. I'd be mad that you gotta be like, yo, the first thing I telling both of you, man, calm down. You don't want to calm down. Then I watch the girl in the middle and I say, yo, calm down.
No, but you see, all I was thinking of too, because she was right next to me, and supposedly he had go and hit her, and then I would have to explain to my friend how her sister went out with me, and she get hit. No. I ain't about I ain't about that.
You need to be in problems.
You would have said she get hit.
No, I would have to tell her the truth, dog. But
what happened to the rest of the story? She get hit and then
I don't know, but
shit went
I don't know.
down.
I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody in the bus beat this man.
I ain't gonna lie. When the man tell me, boy, Sean, you should at least slap him. I had kind of feel bad.
I went out that night.
I find I would have been a good.
You was drunk,
but not at the time. We was good. But the partner was drunk. But none of that I find I make an excuse or anything.
I don't understand.
But
how this man get that type of drunk now? Like when I get drunk, I just be flying, I just be dancing on a bus stop, I just be giving Moroccan dudes who just passing through talking a bunch of shit, making everybody laugh, the end of my joint, and after I tell them no like 5 times, you check like, but you know, to be there having a good time.
How you think you'd handle that, King?
Like, I can't say wrong because I'm guilty of reacting similarly in situations.
But you see, we just know to not be confrontational like that.
Yeah, but honestly, like, I like talking about that same situation with other people, I felt regret many times because it's like looking back in the situation, like I at the time I assumed I made the right situation. Cause like there was this one situation in particular. Coincidentally, cheat-code was present at this moment. Cause he was in my class in like 3rd form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this had happened in MPC with a dude who was in my class who shall remain nameless. But I was talking about something, I don't even know what I was talking about. This man turned and told me like, yo, shut up. I'm like, but who is you to tell me to stop talking if I want to talk and stuff like that? And this at the time he was in the computer class, B9 for those who know the class and stuff like that. Then. But the teacher left the room for whatever reason. I don't remember the time, this was a while ago. And he told me shut up. I was like, no, I'm going to continue talking. So I continued talking to whoever I was talking about. I don't remember what it was. And then the man get up and slap me.
What?
Yeah, because apparently because I didn't stop talking on his command, like who this guy think he is, as if he's some kind of whatever to be giving me these commands. But yeah, the man slapped me, and then I'd stand up. I remember I turned to cheat-code self. I'd asked the man if he think it's worth it, and he was like, bye. And then I just sit back down, and that was the end of the I just leave that.
So now my question is, if he had say yes now, you would have slapped him back? Or you think you would have slapped him back?
I felt like that. If we had to compare the situation, I feel like what you just described, there's a lot more at stake there. Main fact being that we adults in this country, they say our country and stuff like that. But Auntie Martin, my thought process generally when it came to fights and stuff like that was just like, yo, I know that this fight will never end with just us two. I know that if I fight you, you gonna tell
Where he
your
was from?
homies.
Where he was from?
French Quarter.
Oh fuck.
I know that if I fight you, you gonna tell your homies out of yo, I was just in a fight. Especially if you lose, you gonna tell your homies, I was just in a fight. The man do this
Especially
and this
if
and
you get
that.
jumped.
Homies gonna come back, and then they gonna come for me, and then I gonna let my homies know. And the type of dudes that I know none of they had ain't no good, so they gonna come and this gonna turn into some whole big thing.
but you see,
and
that's
then
the
somebody
Martin,
gonna
if you
get stabbed
fight,
or somebody
you
gonna
start
shoot,
on movie.
and then it's
let
like
me show you. Wait. Let me put a sidebar on that story right there. Is either I think one or two possibilities. That would get squashed real quick, or we would eat some licks.
Yo,
French
look,
Quarter and the
when you
ladies of
fight,
That's not a water. That's a beat up.
But check it.
No homo. That's a gangbang.
Nah. But back in the day, right, it was like this: that you fight, you start the movie. That when the movie start.
No, but you see, back then too, is the movie. It's not a movie. It turned into a series. It's not
Well,
one episode.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
2, 3,
Oh, yeah.
4, 5,
Well,
This
you
is
could
like
put it like
Fast and
that.
Furious.
Yeah, but look,
Like
Transformers
seven,
ain't got
seven.
nothing.
them.
Look, right, Transformers ain't got nothing on NPC fights, okay?
Yeah, but
NPC/Academy.
But yeah, that way, like I can't see you react wrong in this situation because
But
I know the type of dude I is, and I my thought process went
You
similar
see?
way to you, and I was done thinking on the worst possible
that's-
scenario.
okay, yeah,
so I was
that's
just
true.
like avoid
That's true.
situation.
I was gonna say that's a different situation because he physically hit you. But
Yeah,
then you was thinking
yeah.
about, but what you say you was thinking about a further situation, and that would have been bad. That it could have not necessarily that it would for sure been bad, but it could have potentially been very bad.
yeah.
And the thing is, like me and this dude still kind of cool to this. Like the
What?
thing
That is
what
rough.
had made me regret it
That-
that
shut up.
was like that probably happened maybe second hour or something. So like recess didn't happen yet.
Yeah.
So then and we just chill in the same place during recess, dog. So we just had this kind of altercation, and then during recess, this man telling the other people that to chill on the
That
same
he
block.
just slap you by.
Yeah, dog. I did in the spot, dog. And this man
Okay,
talking
just
to other
slap
people
this
like, yo,
man,
I just slapped this
You
man
know
and he
what
do
it-
nothing.
you know what bad
Man
thing
making
is?
it seem like it's a big thing.
You
Like,
can't say
He just
no,
level up. He just level up.
But that fuck up thing is Gary can't say. I mean, K can't say it ain't happened. You
it
can't refute
happened.
it. Everybody see it.
You should have
yeah,
at
dog.
that
That was
point.
in the class, dog.
What you should have done at that point is then stop moving. Look at this man, right?
Stop
for
moving.
a long time. Look
Play
at
dead,
this
play
man.
dead.
Look what play dead. Look at this man for a really long time. Dog, walk up, crank one, sit back down. Just tell him, man.
Yeah.
And then you just
I
start.
say yeah.
Then you
Just tell him,
start,
yeah.
dog. Then you start telling
Why?
this man why.
I don't know, but I honestly, no, again, hearing Ari says of it and hearing my other partner when he had say it, I kind of feel I should just slap him. But then it was like, boy, if I had slapped him, I would have gone sit back down. He would have rushed me. When we would have ended up fighting. I don't really know who all would have jumped in for who, but I know the girl next to me, her head ain't really good either, and she would have looked to do something. And if he had hit her, that would have been it.
You see,
And you see,
man had to
ain't
coordinate,
necessary.
dog. Man, no. Y'all had to coordinate. You see, because after you slap him and sit back down and start, these man supposed to get up and be like, move, just move, be dumb,
But you see,
be dumb.
I ain't trying. You see, okay, I ain't gonna lie to you, right?
spit on him, he slap you, be dumb.
We cool.
What would a man to do?
Me and these partners.
You know them like that.
They my boys now. Don't get me wrong. They my boys. If one of them had to get slapped or anything like that, I'd fight for them. But we not cool to the point that I feel comfortable in putting them in a situation like that.
Okay.
If it was my brother now, who I think all I know who I talking about, if that had to happen, I don't think I would have to do anything. Because that would have happened before I even get to blink. That would have been dealt with. But in a situation like that, I would feel more comfortable. Like, all right, cool. This man, I know for sure. This man down forever.
Like
we going.
that particular situation I just mentioned, that was something I intentionally kept from a lot of other people because like I know how these man does operate. Like, so if you mention this man name on the
Hey,
podcast,
I was just gonna shout him out now, but I was gonna hold it out. I'm gonna hold it out.
but like yo, this man.
Big up this man though.
Later, I was talking to him about it. Stuff like yo, I
Big up
tell
this
him about the
man.
situation. He was like, "But yo, why you ain't tell me about
No.
this back then, dog?"
No,
like
it's a really good thing, especially that one is a good
Too
thing.
much
you
people
tell
would
me.
have get involved.
hot-headed people.
Too much
Like I
people
know
would
too
get
much
involved.
hot-headed people around me. So it's like intentionally kept that just took the L and
But
kept it moving. And
Let me
like,
show you how bad it is, right? Let me show you how bad it is. When I was in primary, right, I got slapped once. What happened?
None.
Okay. I got slapped once, right? Then, after I get slapped for no apparent reason, by yo, I had tears running down my eyes because this man slapped me hard. Like, let me tell her it's something, right? When I tell her, you man get slapped, yo, this man ain't hold back, no power.
Back
this
and
man
the man
just,
crank back.
The man slapped me hard.
The man hit you and move on you.
What?
That's where you get it
Just for
from.
saying something that, then I get up, buzz the corner that, yo, let me tell her, you man, something. I buzz the corner, La Toya. You hear what I just said? La Toya
Trying not
see
to give her
me.
names.
She say, yo, what just happened? So the man slapped me, dog. She buzzed the corner. All you hear is do-do, ba-do, back, do-do, back. The man got big fucking red eye, dog. The man eye was purple. Where he like skin cells, dog.
Pawple.
Purple.
Pawple.
That fuck wasn't purple. It was
for our
purple.
international people
You
listening.
understand? It wasn't purple.
Please excuse my friend's
Why?
vernacular.
Why?
What he really meant to say was purple. His eye was purple.
Well, not even. Because they were purple.
I understand. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right. I
and
feel
this
you.
man wasn't talking no more, dog. Yo, just because I say that he slapped me, dog. So imagine if I had
butcher the English language by Jesus Christ.
nah. But you know what people need to do? They need to behave with that shit because I can understand you and you can't understand me. Boom, done with it. That's it. That's all important. If you can't understand me, that means I speaking something that coming from your language, but put in another way. No, you can't understand.
Yeah,
you don't
but-
have that much mastery over the English language then, because I seem to have more mastery over it.
No, but you see, you can't say that because
Well, how?
Because if just like how you say, if we put our own thing on it, I mean, we put our own thing on it. I mean, we know what we're talking about because we put our own thing on it. You can't expect somebody else who from away to understand what we're saying because we put our thing
Yeah,
on
but
it.
in the same way, it have a lot of people that
Yeah, but
like
I
for instance,
understand what the
somebody
man's
from
saying.
England.
He basically trying
Yeah,
to say
but-
like we speak more languages than them because you only speak this type of English. We
Yeah,
understand
people
English
from
and we
England
understand this
understand
other.
me
you have to
talking
understand,
normal.
but at the same time, I understand what you're saying, but you have to understand that's not English. Yo, what going? How hey hi?
It's
How are
English,
you?
dog.
How
It's
are you
English,
doing?
dog. It's English,
It's a
dog.
lot different. Than, yo, what going
No,
on?
so what?
So what?
Yo,
So what?
What you
End
on?
of sentence. So what? Like
What?
That's
you
a
on?
dialect, dog.
That's a dialect.
That's
but
a
it's
dialect from the English language.
Yeah, but is a powerful in the sense of how we interpreting those
Be more
words and
efficient
how
with
we
words, dog.
exactly.
listen, you look at the words. So
Exactly.
so
dog.
what is going on? We
Dog.
just shorten that into so what?
So
what is
but
going on?
it's
That's like
not,
a long
It is
sentence.
not efficient if what you're trying to
I understand. You
bring
understand?
across.
If I tell you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what, you respond and you understand what he's
Exactly.
trying to
We
say.
go
Right?
up to
You're
anybody
right in
in
that,
Holland,
yeah.
in Holland period, and be like, yo, so what?
Cause they ain't informed, dog.
They
They're not
don't know
into
that.
the loop, dog.
But that's what I'm
But I
saying.
could
You can't
talk,
expect
I
them
could
to
talk to
understand.
somebody from England and say so why, and this man will be like, yeah,
No,
dog,
but
what
you
going
see,
on?
that's a bad example because
mean?
England have a lot of Jamaican influence and a
Yeah,
lot of
but we
Caribbean.
don't- West
we
Indian.
don't
A
lot of
speak
Car-
Jamaican.
No, we don't. But it's dog. You
They have
can't
a lot-
say it's
there's a
not
lot- there's a
similar.
lot of West
You
Indian- there's a
cannot
lot of
say
in-
it's not similar.
Right.
There's a lot of
Jamaican-
West Indian
on the
influence
next
in
level
okay,
of
in Britain in
efficiency,
general.
dog.
Not similar.
Because
Let me
not
not
only
say similar. Is a lot. It's very different.
like aside
But-
from Jamaica, there's a lot of West Indian influence in Britain in general. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
people are
Okay,
more
yeah, you're right.
understanding of or embracing of the island culture and
Yeah,
stuff
but it
like
is
that.
feel
Okay,
normal
wait,
when
wait,
I'm
wait.
speaking normal
Let me
and the
ask
man
you-
just understand everything
I don't speak
say,
to that
dog.
much people from British English people then, so I can't say I don't know whether or not if I say so what they would
Nah, they
understand
don't
and respond
understand.
Okay,
accordingly.
but wait.
They
Let me
gonna
ask
say
you a
some-
question. Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. Are you can tell the difference between Scottish and British English?
Yeah, a little bit.
You can tell a little bit.
You know, I mean, you could tell in the accent.
I know there's differences like with the Irish accent, for example, like with Scottish and British. No,
The man
I
in
know
the
like
say
Irish
tree.
accent, like for example, that's why I think on Mary and Pippin from
But wait,
Lord of the Rings,
why-
there's more of like an Irish type of than British.
Why I bring that up is because you're not really informed, right? Because you're not really accustomed to having people or friends that speak that way.
Yeah.
So now you got
You're
to think
trying to
about,
say
you gotta
that-
think
But
about
no,
the
but
reverse when
you
it comes to
could
us in Jamaica.
literally-
As much as it has born me, and they don't realize that Jamaica is not the only island in the freaking Caribbean.
No, that has born me.
There's
forever.
you have to put the shoe on the other foot as well, because like at the same time that's why I bring up the example. You can't tell the difference between Scottish and British,
Who
but
said
there's
that?
different.
Who said that? that I just work with somebody from Ireland. That.
Because you have that experience, but they have people. They have
the man basically
they
trying to say that if you're
know
not
the
informed,
difference,
like there's different dialects
informed.
the man basically trying to say there's different dialects everywhere to every type of English or whatever. Like among the islands, there's all differences. If you go to Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, whatever island you pick, there's nuances, there's subtle differences between the accents, and we know that because part of that culture, we belong to that culture.
Every type of like right now, I have
belong
4
to-
different types of English dialects.
But Westlaw,
classify
question:
just in
can
here.
you identify if, for example, you hearing somebody speak English? Would you be able to tell the difference between a Lithuanian, a Romanian, a Polish person? All of these type of things.
Yeah.
They're similar.
They're similar, but I can tell
but
the
they are
difference
different.
now.
They are different.
But because why? Have you not had experience with
I've
them?
heard it once or twice.
But
you know what I mean?
exactly,
Then you know.
if you talk to some,
But
a lot
if
of
you're not
time these-
familiar with that region and you hear an accent, you would just say, "Okay, that sounds like a
I
Russian
always
accent."
ask them where they're from.
But
then you see like the similarities in like the different countries that are from there. But then you just also notice the differences in how they just go into like English.
Sometimes I still have trouble telling the difference between Moroccan and Turkish accent and stuff like that. I know there's a difference.
I cannot tell the difference.
I was just gonna say,
I know there's a difference and
I
stuff
know
like
there's
that, but
difference.
I
I
still
just can't
struggle
tell- I
sometimes
can't
to
tell
tell
it.
the difference
But
between
I can't
Turkish
tell
and
the
Moroccan accents.
I mean, don't
I can't
feel no
do
way.
it.
I can't do
I can't do
it.
it.
But you see, but exactly, there's a clear.
I'm not familiar enough. I'm not familiar enough with that
how you
culture.
can't tell no difference.
Yeah.
It's the same way how a lot
They
of
can't.
people
They just
can't
see us
tell
as
the difference
Jamaicans.
between
We
us
sound
and
like
Jamaican.
Jamaicans, but
I hate that though. I can't stand
I can't
because I
stand-
sound
I
so
can't-
much more different.
Yeah,
than
but
a
really
Jamaican
and truly, you
going in.
They have a lot of I want to be politically correct, but I'm gonna probably still sound like an asshole. They got a lot of people in Middle East, the Middle East countries, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They got a lot of countries in the Middle East. You would be able to tell the difference. Who you know the countries over there?
No.
Okay, so if you have to hear somebody, one of the first countries
I
you would say,
must
"Oh,
say-
but you from Pakistan?"
I must say though, like that was an educating experience. Like what I was telling you, talking to
I mean,
you
it's
about
messed
off
up.
air and stuff.
It messed up,
Like
but
the,
It's messed up, but it's
You
true.
have to
Jared.
do it
So I
once
could-
to
as
know
much
the rest,
again,
yeah.
as much as it bond me, I could somewhat understand where they coming from.
Like I must say though, like when I was working at that job, you know, like what we was talking about off air, like when
Yeah.
I was working at Burger King, that was an internationally interesting experience because the amount of people that we had from different ethnicities, like had Somalians working there, people from different African countries, different Middle Eastern countries, from Afghanistan to Pakistan and stuff like that. And I was some of the first people that I met from these countries and stuff like that. It was an interesting experience, but to say or to say that was enough for me to be able to differentiate and identify every accent and stuff like that based on the subtle nuances between them, no.
You see, that's the thing. So we can't, as much as it pisses us off, we can't really get that upset.
Yeah,
with
I
them.
understand it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of times people ask me like, "Where you from?" I be like, "St. Martin." Like, where's that? Especially when I went Japan, when I ended up
The amount of
going
Dutch
over
people
there.
that I had to explain that to,
But you don't
I
even
feel
know,
it's
like, where
embarrassing.
the vicinity
Okay,
of like
Dutch
maybe,
people,
like, the
right?
immediate
I feel like
area.
Dutch people
okay.
at least supposed to know where one of their colonies are, but the amount of Dutch people I've had to explain like
All right.
what is St. Martin, where it is, and
Okay,
the fact that
so
we are
that's-
Dutch.
So that's Dutch people.
Like
Try imagine trying to explain that to Japanese people.
Wow.
yeah,
A lot of them
like,
don't even know where the Caribbean was. That
wow.
Wow.
Kinda
It's
just
true,
be
though.
like most people when it comes to trying to explain in detail where St. Martin is, that'll just be like, yeah, it's in the Caribbean.
yo, I
We're
just
a
say,
Caribbean island.
I just say we close to Puerto Rico, but you know what it is to
True.
not only explain where St. Martin is, but to have to explain where the Caribbean is.
Not rough, boy. Like
Yo,
Can't
I
straight-
want-
Be like
yo,
Florida.
Caribbean. I'm not even going to lie to you. A lot of the points in Japan, I was just like, yeah, I'm from Jamaica. Yo, at one point, I just give up.
Close to Jamaica. I just always be like close to Jamaica because I
ain't gonna
really
lie.
want them to
Yeah.
get
I had learned
the difference.
I had learned at a certain point in time. I had really decided to really try to learn this Japanese thing. So I had learned the word close, and I said Jamaica. So like, okay, close to Jamaica. So like, oh, St. Martin, and obviously I have like the hoodie and the shirt. So you saw a lot of Japanese people know St. Martin is, by the way. Hey, shout out St. Martin.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, Jed.
Yeah.
Is at one point I just was like, all right, I just can't do it anymore.
But like, since we're on the topic of St. Martin, I wanted to touch on some things from the last podcast that we talked about. Like, on one of the questions that we kind of stated, but since then we didn't really receive any feedback in it. But I was just interested on my own, so I decided to try to look up the answer and stuff like that for myself. But one of the questions that we posed was, how was the Caribbean affected by World War II, and what kind of role Caribbean islands played in World War II? And Well, looking up, like one of the things that I found was that there was a lot of involvement, like active involvement from troops from the West Indies and stuff like that participating in World War II, and there was something like 16,000 soldiers that participated and fought alongside in the British Army and the Navy and worked as engineers and stuff like that during World War II. And I don't remember the exact numbers of like how many were from which country, but it was a lot from like Jamaica and stuff like that. And there's something you could look up called the Battle of the Caribbean that talks about some of this. And
What?
it's like,
Hey, research.
yeah, but I got the Wikipedia page right here, and it says like the Battle of the Caribbean refers to a naval campaign waged during World War II that was part of the Battle of the Atlantic from 1941 to 1945. German U-boats and Italian submarines attempted to disrupt the Allied supply of oil and other material. They sank shipping. They sank shipping in the Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico and attacked coastal targets in the Antilles.
We will practice our reading.
But like, so one of the things that I definitely found that was interesting was like the Royal Dutch Shell refinery on Dutch-owned Curaçao, processing 11 million barrels per month, was the largest oil refinery in the world. Like, I didn't even know that.
What?
Like, I didn't know Curaçao and Aruba was like
playing in the largest oil refinery in the world at that time.
Because and like in Trinidad at Pointe-à-Pitre at that time as well, there was like the large oil refinery within the British Empire.
Hey,
so
we're dropping knowledge on you.
Yeah, and there was another large refinery on Dutch-owned Aruba. That was one of the things that was mentioned, and like these things were being attacked during the war because you're trying to cut off supplies to go to whatever allied nation. So like if we creating oil over here, it's like of course during the war and stuff like that, you need supplies, you need oil to operate whatever machinery and thing it is you're doing. So that was one of the things that was attacked. So that's kind of how they was involved. But that's part of what was going on directly in the Caribbean, the sinking of the ships and stuff like that. I was transporting some of these things, like.
Sure.
Like, I mean, there's more to it and stuff like that. I haven't dug all that deeply, but I mean, trying to find things that was like at least closely relating to the Antilles and how they was involved. I didn't know that the oil and stuff that was in Aruba and Curaçao was like to that extent.
But
like,
you telling me something new?
Yeah, and there's a lot more information on it that you can find, but that was like some of the most interesting from what I read so far. But at another point, I'm going to look more into it and be a little more educated on that. But
give us a little history lesson.
But not too much because
like before reading that, I had no idea of what the involvement at all was of the Caribbean and how it was affected and stuff like that during World War II. So that was just some
I didn't even know
to
we
follow up kind of stuff.
But then again, it kind of makes sense because back
we
then
was a Dutch colony at the time, so I mean,
and Jamaica and Trinidad,
all of them was still under the British. The influence was more heavy before they started becoming independent and stuff like that. So colonialism was still in full force. Was a lot stronger at the time.
But I think that was almost at I wouldn't say almost at its peak because I would have to sound like I actually know what I'm talking about. So it was still widely done back then. Put it that way.
Yeah, and another interesting article while we talking on St. Martin stuff. Like I saw this one come across on the St. Martin Talks Facebook page. I don't know if y'all are part of it or not. I know
if
Kana is. We talked about
it. Reading this headline here. Airbnb.
Let me see if
on the front side.
Read the headline.
Yeah, the headline.
Read the headline.
You trying to put him on the
front side hoteliers.
What the rest?
Worry about the fast rise of Airbnb.
Okay, then maybe the man
is trying to. He have a computer, so
Yeah,
come on,
put him on the spot, trying to be weather the man. You're wrong. You're trying to be weather the man. You're wrong.
No, because I know he could read. I know the man didn't know.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Either way. I just saw this article and I thought it was an interesting thing talking about just the rise of Airbnb and like down to the bottom of it, they have a thing where they say like 72% or at least the front side also hosts 72% more tourists using Airbnb than the year before. They didn't really. There's just talking about some statistics of how big of a deal of how big of an impact Airbnb is making on St. Martin, which was something that I never really thought about, but just the concept of what Airbnb is to me, it makes sense like that St. Martin would adopt it and yeah, there's a lot of tourists that come to the island. So of course there's people looking for staying, and if there's cheaper options than hotels, which aren't always the cheapest and stuff like that, it's only logical that people are going to start adopting.
But
Airbnb.
I find like, because I have a friend that her parents own like a estate, and like they had like really cool like pool houses and stuff on the property, and they would like put that up on the website and have like international tourists flying in for like a day or two or something to stay in that room, essentially use the grounds, access to the pool and stuff like that. And it was really cool on the friend side, have like nice views and really cheap. So I would imagine that people like would prefer doing that.
But even that would be expensive on Airbnb. But I mean, in general,
it depends what you're looking for.
I kind of glad to hear that, because I got some friends that want to visit St. Martin, and the hotels is a little bit serious, and I ain't got nobody that in the hotels that got connection that I check, so they'll have to pay full price.
Because I mean, like when I went on vacation to France for the New Year's last year, like we stayed in an Airbnb spot, and like the apartment that we stayed in was like a nice apartment. Whoever that dude is, like, he living good. Like, see, dude had like 3 floors, man. In the basement, he had like a pool table area with like workout machines and stuff like that. Dude living good.
That come from the money.
Let me show you something. You had that experience,
and it wasn't that expensive, dog. Like,
you had that experience. I had an experience too in Japan. We had 4 people in one room. The room was literally big enough to fit a bed and a chest of drawers, and then it had a little place with a fridge, a little side thing with like a kitchen and a bathroom. That was it. That was the room.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but these things, they had pictures and stuff for the room though, because like that's part of the reason why we picked the room. Now,
Yeah,
because
but you see that
you could have correspondence. Like before you went on the vacation, like I wasn't the one who planned the trip necessarily, so I wasn't dealing with that. But there was my ex at the time, and she was going back and forth emailing the guy and talking about whatever details and things, like when we come in to check in and all of that. And aside from the pictures and stuff that was on the site of the place, and we kind of explain like how many people it was and if there was enough beds and stuff like that in the room and all of that. So like all of that was sorted out in advance to some degree. So I ain't trying to make it sound messed up, but I feel like that's to some degree on you, that like,
well, on in my defense, it wasn't me that planned it. And number 2, we would try to be more economically sound. So we were trying to spend as less money as possible.
Well,
so
I mean, I'm sure if you spend more, I mean, there's good stuff and bad stuff on Airbnb, just like there is with hotels. Like there's 5-star hotels, there's 1-star hotels and stuff, and the price shows in what you're paying for, like what you want.
I just bring that up more to show that in Japan them rooms small, but
I could imagine. I just see something about it.
Oh, you ever see them little cubicles that they have by like the
I was just gonna say, they have like cube rooms in hotels, like with a TV and a bed and like a little thing that you could just pull across.
You have like a futon on the bed, on the floor practically. And then you just go in. You just have a TV. You could go in
TV there.
Yeah, you have a TV
on one side.
But practically,
it's better jail though, because you have a TV. It's luxurious.
It's like one of those billionaire dollar like people jails. So you'd have like a TV and thing, and then you'd put your suitcase and like your own little locker space type thing. You have your own number and thing like that. Yo, you want to talk about efficiency? Japan?
But they only being efficient because they have to. That fuck is like
necessity. Like if we don't,
how you mean?
If we don't, what happens?
I mean,
how densely populated the place is.
Densely populated.
If you're not efficient with space,
not dense.
Are you realize in Japan the government is trying to encourage people to have sex?
Not true that.
Like the government. Like
nobody say that they ain't like it. Saying that they dense.
No, as in it dense, but as in it's not as dense as you think, because the government
that'll be one more Tokyo and stuff like that. I have the immensely dense population.
Yeah,
It may not be entire Japan that's as densely populated as Tokyo and certain central hubs and stuff.
If you're talking about the amount of people, Tokyo is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about the metros, right? The metro's full from 6 o'clock till 12 now.
Wow.
When I mean 12 o'clock, I mean like 12:59 now. People still, like business people,
the entire day basically.
They just
no matter when it is. Like
some of these people, dog, just have an hour to 2 hour commutes to work now.
To
work now. That means 4 hours back total in
Now
a
why
day
do we
you spending
do?
on a train.
That what they be doing.
Bye.
Yo, that not you go on a train. That is a metro now.
Oh. They gotta sit on in that thing for 2 hours?
Yo, but
Big man.
They don't
like,
got no chairs?
Sit down.
I've seen that
Standing
there's
up.
videos
Stand
of
up.
like
A lot of
people
them
who
stand
just
up.
I've seen like people who just get paid to like stuff people into I don't know if that's Tokyo, Japan or whatever, like where that was
Paid
going
to
on, but I know
stuff
it's one of them
people?
Asian.
Let me show
like,
you.
the way
Let's
the
come
metro
and
does be
push.
looking
Let
is
me
like
show you
to make
something.
sure everybody's inside. We just out there literally pushing people so that the doors could close and thing before the metro
Let
go.
me
Like,
explain you something. That's not just a video. That's not
Right.
exaggerated.
That's true.
That is true. I saw that live. I said no. I caught a taxi.
Wow.
Not me. No, it's
that
crazy
crazy,
over
man.
there.
Yo, you
Jack.
just gotta get in there and
It-
like rub some boom boom on a girl or something that
Yo,
wow,
yeah, little
really?
feel up.
let me show you
Really?
something.
Not to be
That
converted.
no, but that's really no. That's a serious thing in Japan now. It's so serious.
Man, them grabbing.
Yeah, they like the molestation itself is so serious. In Tokyo, they have a specific car just for women.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because the man ain't gonna just be there like touching up
during peak
boobs
hours,
there, you
during
know?
peak hours, no man allowed to be in that part of the metro.
That's understandable. I feel
That's
like
how
because, like-
ten. Yo, another example of how tense the pervertedness over there is. Japanese phones don't come in silence. What I mean by that?
so people can be sneaking pictures and stuff.
Exactly.
Wow.
What I mean by that? No Japanese phone, especially. Okay, let me not say that because I'm not too sure about all the other phones. But the iPhone, especially, I was told that they made it especially like that you cannot take the silence off of the camera. So all Japanese phones, when you take a picture, you hear it.
Yeah.
Because the perversion is and the like the
Wow.
upskirt pictures
Oh
and
my
like
God.
That crazy, you know.
it's
That's
not
something
not
You go in
sexual
a train
abuse,
and
but
you
the
just
objectification of women is that serious
Yeah.
that Apple had to implement that in the phones.
That
Yeah,
crazy,
but like
man.
manga and fucking.
So now,
Yeah,
again,
come on,
anybody,
hentai-
wait,
hentai is
anybody
other
that
stuff,
listening to
like-
this podcast that say I talking bullshit, please let me know.
Yeah.
At me on Facebook or Instagram.
If you
or
got corrections to
wherever,
this.
if you got corrections, let me know because this is what I was told by actual Japanese people. So
If it's incorrect, then blame
while
them.
you was there.
while I was living there for 6 months, and I actually had a Japanese phone because my phone had break,
Yeah.
and I had to get a replacement in Japan, and that thing would not come off.
Yo.
There was no way to take
No
that
settings
off.
to
There was
disable.
no settings, not like
The man
I
just
would-
did take that out of the whole.
I hear in Amsterdam trying to be sneaky, trying to
code.
show somebody a picture that I ain't supposed to be showing, and I just get busted
Bye.
because bash. You hear it. There's no way to turn it off, and I clean forget that I'm not in Japan. I ain't a normal. It don't stay in Japan. It is actually follow you because you got a
Still
phone.
operating the same way.
So I kind of forget that part.
Yeah.
And by it's it's
You get caught one
it's
time.
crazy, dog. Over there is
Aye.
ridiculous. As conservative and minor, they're very conservative now. The Japanese people, they're very conservative.
But a Japanese girl with a nice figure and big boobs over there is
Most
like
probably
is
fake.
like a hentai character come to life, dog. And
Most
these
probably-
man
I
just
can
putting on
guarantee
the
you-
spikes and going in the train and you just ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. The man like, yo, I just catch 3 Pokemon, dog.
What? What? Yo,
Froggy, what?
I mean, if the perversion is real, which I just say.
yeah, but what? I don't even
I
understand.
just put it in the.
I don't even understand. Like, what was you trying to say that? I don't even understand.
They get 3 different pom pom pics, dog.
Like, what?
So the Pum Pum is a Pokemon then.
Pokey. Yo, I man no get it, man. When Ace on the mic, dog. Cryptic. Dog.
Okay
It's
then.
Pokey. The man just gets.
Okay then.
He got it.
Hey,
I understand.
this
I
has been a very
At least
interesting
you was
episode.
laughing.
But yeah,
I don't know if the
definitely.
rest of the world gonna be laughing. Whoever listening to this, please laugh.
Like, but I feel like for these type of discussion, this why we got to get a female guest up on the show. You know, we needed to balance this kind of.
Yeah, we can't talk about female
Like
objectification.
we making all these type of jokes and stuff like that cause a room full of dudes, you know. We like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
If
we-
a girl was there, my joke would have been a lot, you know. Like
I sorry, I don't laugh as hard.
we know you are who you are, but I mean,
it would be nice to hear them
The people,
phonetics.
hey,
then if at least if you had a female here, she could complain and be like, that is sexist or whatever.
That
You
fuck
know,
up.
yeah, and then,
whatever
and then
type of
we
jokes
could
you
have
make,
created
balance the energy
yeah,
and
we
thing.
could create a dialogue about it. But
No, we just laughing about this
but,
stuff.
hey, so life goes. We will try. What about the next coming weeks? Right? Maybe the next time we will try to have a female guest. What do you think?
We definitely need to have a female guest on at some point. I mean, we working on it. We're working on it. We're
Alright,
trying to have one schedule, but
With that being said, this has been the link up. Froggy, well, I
Westlaw, you got anything else?
See,
You
man,
Froggy.
call
Yeah,
me
I sorry,
Froggy,
I don't
call you
Froggy.
No, this one calling me
I-
Ace.
I-
Yo, are you man know it is Ace?
anything to plug in?
See, and the man say the third name.
Westlaw.
So none of us.
Yeah, the man
none
say
of us.
Ace.
is
I
right.
don't know
Because
who that
Ace,
is.
yeah, are you man in number Ace?
Who is here in this room now? I don't even know who I'm interviewing this whole time.
Yo, Wesley
Who
in
is
this
this
room
person?
because it's all of them. I bring all of them here.
Okay, then so you
I
you
man
four
know
people
it
now,
is.
multiple personality
But I got a
disorder. Now
lot
we
that
talking about that.
anybody who following me going slowly realize I's
What's
the
that clinic he called?
embodiment of
Schizophrenia?
Nah, that's
No,
something
no.
else. Schizophrenia is one thing. Multiple personality disorder is the whole thing. There's two
Oh, yeah?
separate. There's
Was
two
that
separate
X-Man,
disorders.
that X-Man show that come out there with the guy who got like 1 billion people in his head?
Split.
What?
Nah,
I know there was a movie called Split that was
with
about that same
Xavier's
thing.
What?
son.
I think so. No, wait.
With
You
Xavier's
talking about
son.
the X-Men self or like the
Not the
X-Men
X-Men,
movie itself or like the
X-Men
dude who was in the
related.
X-Men?
about?
It's related.
I don't know. I don't know. Because it's been a minute since I watched an X-Men movie, but that's
Legion. The man called Legion. Right? The man
mhm.
called Legion because he got like a legion of people in his head. Anyway, so I got a legion of friggin' things that I want to put names on. So
All
simple
right,
as that.
well, tell the people where they could find all your names. Like, where was your Instagram, your Facebook?
They could find me on Instagram at west.lord. And they
what's
could
the
find,
Instagram change too?
I was gonna ask you. 'cause
I just
know
changed the
had you on-
name,
on
so
something
like
else.
if people searching, they're gonna have to
okay.
just look for that.
Alright,
you
so
know what I mean? They
one
can
more time?
always check tags AC9 or whatever, but
West dot
west.lord is the Instagram, and Facebook, YouTube,
SoundCloud.
Twitter, and
the
that
music
getting worked on. I gotta redo all of that shit.
All right, so practically you could just find
And
him
my
on Instagram.
and my music,
Uh-huh.
I don't know where that.
But how you mean you don't know where your music at, dog?
That gotta
Alright,
get deleted. That gotta get started over again.
Okay.
Let's get it.
So you're reintroducing yourself to the people
Yeah,
then, so
because,
do you
like,
want
it's like-
nobody
it's like-
looking at what's the old stuff then?
It's like everything that was there was only for like
A certain time.
and a certain group of people who
Okay,
actually
okay.
you know what I mean. But I gotta work on it and like actually start releasing stuff on it.
No shit.
You know, because I have followers, not that much followers, but I have some. So and they've been slowly growing over the years. So, you know what I mean?
what you gotta do? You gotta tell your followers to listen to this podcast and share it.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share this on my Instagram.
And
People can
Get
get
it
a better
poppin'.
insight of who Alto, Westlaw is, all of these people, so they could get a little
Speaking
insight of who he is, you know?
Where your like artwork for this show?
I mean, I personally haven't been promoting it on my personal channels, but they does have the link up. There's the official link up page and the
Follow us on
official link
Facebook.
up. Yeah, the Facebook page and Instagram, and that's where most of this content has been putting out. But I know I definitely have been sleeping on actually promoting it through my personal channels because it hasn't been on my Mr.
I
King.
guess
We can
I
get there.
end
Facebook
up doing a
page.
I
post.
laughed on that too, but we don't get there. Progression.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking
definitely.
for.
You just gotta make sure to like the Facebook page so you can stay up to date on all every episode, every new update. You know,
That could happen.
And everybody else that listening, don't forget to like us, share us on whatever social media you follow us on.
Help us
following
grow.
us on. And don't forget to comment as well. Let us know what you think about the show, what we could improve, what you would like us to talk about, who you would like us to bring
That would be
on the
nice.
show.
Yep.
And yeah, just let us know what you think.
And also, not to cut you off, but I know y'all want to see who it be. We don't got no cameras. Not yet.
That coming later on, man. Don't worry.
Upgrades coming. I mean,
Yeah.
as the
Not
show
yet.
progresses, as we build, as we grow as people, and as the show builds and stuff like that,
You're
everything
going
will
to see us
be
clowning
upgraded.
out inside of the room, and then, stay tuned.
Hey,
Yeah.
Is that-
With that note, I think that's a perfect note to wrap it up. Just stay tuned. Make sure you stay plugged in, and Watch for the next episode. Watch what happens next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Jesus Christ.
Gotta mention it again, you know?
Ah, you love.
Blessings, everybody. You have
Bless
a
up.
good weekend, week, wherever
Whenever you listen to it,
this,
you know, have a good whatever and make sure, you know,
have a
enjoy.
good year. Blessings.
Done now.
Bless up.